Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton on this, sir. Good morning, and thank you for your time today.
Good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Mitch McConnell said this would be a 100-car pileup in the Senate. Is this the way it's going to go, sir?
Well, I hope it's not going to go that way, Bill. I hope that we respect the traditions and institutions of the Senate. Right here is a letter from just 4 years ago, signed by 27 Democrats who are still in the Senate, insisting that we maintain the right of senators to have extended debate on legislation. 27 Democrats still in the Senate, when they were in the minority, wanted to maintain those rules. But now they're getting pushed around by their radical left because their agenda is unpopular. They want to make Washington, D.C. a state. They want to pack the Supreme Court. They want to grant amnesty to illegal aliens. They know they don't have the votes to do that, but they're trying to push around Joe Biden, who appears to be so weak that he's caving to them. But you know what? I don't think they're going to push around someone like Joe Manchin, who has said he respects the traditions of the Senate. He, like me, wants to protect the interests of workers in West Virginia and Arkansas and so many other states
sure about that, Senator?
Don't support this bill.
Joe Manchin seemed to hedge on that recently, too.
Now, Senator Manchin has been very clear. He will not vote to change the rules to reduce the threshold from 60 votes to something lower to end debate and have a final vote. That's what the Senate traditions have been going back 40 years. Before that, it was even more than that. There was a time going back 200 years when it required all the senators to agree to end debate. That is the tradition of the Senate. That's in the tradition that our founders wanted the Senate to play, to make sure that any major changes to the laws of our country were considered and careful and deliberate. The Senate has always played that role. It should continue to play that role. Otherwise, you'll get things like the Green New Deal and amnesty for illegal aliens and packing the Supreme Court.
Medicare for all, too. I mean, there would be a long list of things. One of the things that Democrats are saying is that it's Mitch McConnell's fault that there's been so much of a backlog in the Senate and that you can't get anything done. But when I look at it, the only party that has actually used the filibuster in the last several years was Democrats.
Yeah, Dana, again, let me hold up a letter. 27 Democrats in the Senate 4 years ago said we should not change the rules governing debate in the Senate. 27 Democrats just 4 years ago. Who's been filibustering for the last 4 years? It were Democrats who filibustered Donald Trump's nominees and so much of our legislation. Donald Trump even insisted that Mitch McConnell move to end the filibuster in 2017 and 2018, but he did not, and Republicans did not, because we respect the traditions and the customs and the rules of the United States Senate. We respect the rights of the minority. We want to have open and fair debate, and we want to compromise. Look, 20 senators are getting together today over lunch to talk about things like the minimum wage, where there is common ground, where we can come together and negotiate and hopefully have bipartisan solutions that will provide progress for Americans.
Here is Mitch McConnell on the floor of the Senate during our program yesterday. Give this a listen.
Nobody serving in this chamber can even begin to imagine what a completely scorched earth Senate would look like. So, Mr. President, I want our colleagues to imagine a world where every single task, every one of them, requires a physical quorum.
So apparently in the old days, that's the way they did it, Senator, and we might be going back that way. Can you come back to your first answer? How would America be different if they get rid of the filibuster? Help us understand that.
Well, first off, if they don't want to change the rules, but they want to change the practices and require people to be on the floor for extended periods of time, I've got news for them. I can be there around the clock for days on end if it's required to stop things like amnesty for illegal aliens or statehood for Washington, D.C., or packing the Supreme Court. That's ultimately what the Democrats want. It's their far left that's angry that they don't have popular support for their agenda, so they're trying to change the rules and ram it through in this fleeting window when they have power before we win back the Senate and the House next year. That's ultimately what this is about, and that's why the Republicans are going to stand up firmly against that radical agenda.
One last thing on this. So I think that it's pretty clear at the White House, the Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, is basically telling Biden, well, you had to do all of these things in order to make sure that your agenda is big and bold enough that they don't want to be looking like the Obama administration and feeling like they didn't reach high enough. The pressure on the senators, including somebody even like Amy Klobuchar, is saying, let's do this. It's time. How tough is that pressure for them to resist?
Let me hold up this letter again, Dana, with 27 Democrats still in the Senate who signed it. The #1 Democratic signatory on it, the co-author, is Chris Coons, Joe Biden's own senator from Delaware. So you can imagine how much the pressure is coming from the White House, people like Ron Klain and others over there on the Democratic senators, because they are beholden to their far left. Now look, Joe Biden may not be tough enough to stand up to people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders, but Joe Manchin and other Democrats have been so far, and I can't imagine that Joe Manchin is going to go for something like the Green New Deal, imperiling the interest of workers in states like West Virginia, or in my case, in Arkansas.
Senator, thank you for your time. Tom Cotton there on the Hill. More coming up on this momentarily.